Have you ever played a game so complex and well written that you were thinking about it for hours, days, even weeks after playing it? You are not playing Divine Invasion. The Divine Invasion is an artless asset swap available on Steam for a price that deserves 6 months in the shipping container. 25 entire US dollars. The game was developed by Whale Rock Games, based out of Kiev, Ukraine. I probably didn't have to tell you that though. Just one screenshot from this, you can see the game is more Russian than this thing. One of my main theories for the creation of this game is actually that it was meant to be dropped over the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine war to cause Russian soldiers to kill themselves. That being said, one look at the raving reviews and you'll see that the game is cited as having dialogue written in a padded cell, and every free asset known to man. The game also has extremely obvious bot reviews plastered all over it. If you're not already interested, you have no class. The game starts, beautiful main menu by the way, with the worst flashback I have ever seen. Please remember that this appears. You start by talking to a bartender. You mention that you gave your girlfriend a fake pass to get her into the bar. It's not explained why she's separated or why you need to get her a fake pass in the first place, but after mentioning that, the bartender mentions a group called the Puritans, burning your girlfriend to death because she was trespassing. They constantly scream that it's because she's augmented with cybernetics, but so are you and so are they, so whatever. Writing. After entering the next room, you'll notice the extremely active crowd you've been hearing is maybe like 4 people. Jumping down to save your girlfriend, you are pushed into first person. After picking her up to take her outside, we are shown the ugliest model rigging I have ever seen. You must then slowly dodge the several Molotovs that spawn on the ground next to you. Presumably thrown by the 4 people you saw earlier throwing around several corners, but never being able to accurately hit you. You may also notice that you're moving around 10 centimeters per second. After reaching the door, you suddenly just forget about the girlfriend, and now you're walking through cramped alleyways by yourself. You'll eventually reach a crossroad in the alley. Going straight, you continue forwards towards the end of it, and you're dead. Restarting from there, you'll choose to go to the left this time because it's the only other way you can see, and then right at the end of that, and you died. Finally, in the crossroads, you have to back up to see the hidden way to the right and walk towards a strange looking door to get to the next level. After it fades to black, you'll hear voices from an unknown source telling you that you were chased by fanatics. Naturally, you engage in a philosophical debate with them about why you love your girlfriend. You are also told that you have to work for this person because this game needs plot development. And we're playing Ark now. This environment looks ripped straight out of the island map. Walking forwards for 10 seconds will lead you to your contact, an angel. She basically tells you that the Puritans from before were doing bad things that you need to go kill them for. She also explains that anytime you meet in the Ark area, you are meeting over an online MMO. So you basically get your military briefings in VR chat. This is actually how the next mission starts. Just a dead-end hallway that you appear in. Maybe you crawled through the thing, but I don't know. Walking down a hallway, then up a staircase, and through another hallway into the worst level design I have ever seen, you meet the first enemy. Fighting in this game is actually pretty alright, but I have no faith that it wasn't ripped straight from the Unreal library. At this point, you may have noticed the many elements of the HUD. The level meter at the top left, which goes from 1 to 5 and resets each mission. The health bar in the top, which is missiles on the other side. It's like red, I guess, it's health. The abilities in the top right, those are pretty straightforward. They unlock as you level up. And then there's this. I have no clue what this is, and I never will. It never comes up. You never see what that does. Continuing through the 2008 tech demo called The Divine Invasion, you'll notice that throughout this game you've probably seen several hundreds of billion dollars of gold and silver. Yeah, it's never brought up. I mean, it's brought up slightly. They just say it was stolen, but like, where? From Fort Knox? These are just people. After entering an air duct, you're given a cutscene of a static NPC that does nothing. You walk up to people and execute them while you walk along the hallway, and this game is also absurdly dark for most of the time, so I had to crank up the gamma to sadly make it playable. You get to the end of the hallway, and it's just this. Like, what is that? Now we're in a cave. I am not cutting this footage up in any way. After walking into a single other room, you find out that that weird blue person from before killed you off screen. but you're back. You're just back. Then you're talked at about how socioeconomic and political factors have made evil and good swap places. If you think about that for more than 1 second, you realize that this game was not written by a writer, or even by somebody who has a grasp on things like English, philosophy, motor control, critical thinking. You then become your girlfriend all of a sudden, and walk around your character's apartment. You find him asleep on the floor next to his bed for some reason in some sort of laser cage, which turns off. You suddenly take control of him, and the girl just disappears. Like we see her one more time for half a second later on. Then you have to search your labyrinthian apartment featuring a piano, several computers, a briefcase of money, an actual combat drone, and an FL Studio setup for a phone that rings endlessly. This phone took me maybe 15 minutes to find the first time I played, because you have to walk through this door that looks like a wall to find it. And of course, the phone is in the bathroom, exactly where I would put my cell phone. You talk to somebody on the phone that you're meant to think is the angel from before and decide to once again meet in the MMO. She spouts a bunch of illegible philosophy garbage before you are thrust into the most out-of-place mission in this game. A driving section. The car controls about as well as you'd think from a game that comes from an inexperienced developer using every free asset they can get their hands on. Then we see the best level in this game, and the only one I can remember really. The level starts with you in another extremely vague location without a clear goal besides go get thing I want without knowing what it looks like or how to get there. But every mission in this game is extremely linear, so it doesn't matter. You come across an enemy, which is the first time stealth is taught to you. We are more than halfway through. Then you are taught how to throw lures to take down other enemies stealthily. I'd also like to mention that once you are discovered by any enemies, it seems like the stealth takedowns just break, even if you finish a combat encounter and you go to the next one and people don't see you. Sometimes you won't really be able to do takedowns on them, so that's great. After taking down the last of the enemies, you're told to go into the dark room, but you were also warned that there were enemies there to ambush you, but they also wouldn't be able to see. So once again, the sugar glider that wrote this game strikes again. I don't care. After clearing the room and doing an extremely vague turn on the computer objective, you're told that there is a bridge you can't see, that you must take a leap of faith over the gap. But if you do a random leap of faith over the gap, you just die. What the narrator actually meant is that there's a completely visible platform off to the right that you do not need to jump onto. Here comes my favorite part of this game. If you didn't love Whale Rock games, you will now. If you step into any of these little gaps, any of them, you hit the kill barrier. It's so high up on the map that a 2-inch divot in the floor is enough for you to dip your toes into it and instantly die. It even happened to me when I barely touched one of the gaps while jumping off the platform. On the next area after the bridge, you're doing the same thing as you did before, just with worse levels of night vision. First you gotta look through sonar, then bonar, piss vision, and then you couldn't think of a fourth thing, so it's just sonar again. But like a little bit worse, because it's like squares. After you get a new bridge, you get to walk up the infinite revolving platform. I'm just going to shorten this because it genuinely takes over 5 minutes. After getting to the top, you drop into a room where you discover that you were ambushed again. After waiting long enough, or if you die, I think, you get put into a maze in cyberspace or something where you need to punch through golden microchip walls to make it to the end of the maze before 63 seconds is up. Why 63 seconds, you ask? Refer to the charts. This game is terrible. After the maze, you're suddenly in a large prison complex that you need to escape, and for some reason, well, no, I know exactly why. It's because it's a free asset, probably, and despite the developer having canon assets, I don't think he would have, enjoyed programming them in any way. So there's a Fisher-Price toy that's one of the main enemies now, like a turret. The writer tries to get around it by saying it's a loophole in the civilian artillery law, but I'm not a civilian, and neither are they. We're both, combatants. So, I'm skipping this whole part. It's really boring. The whole thing is just walk through several rooms with trillions of dollars of gold in them, and that's all it is. At the end of the level, after talking to the angel, you come to 2 doors. The angel tells you to go through the one on the left, and completely locks the door on the right. Then after you fight a wave of enemies, she tells you to come back and go through the door on the right. Notice that if you go through the left door, you can't keep going forward. You have to go back to the door on the right. Why is there even a wave of enemies there? It's just to pad out the game. That's most of this game. The door on the right has your girlfriend in it. Oh, no, sorry, that was a hallucination. Great writing. Then you just pick up evidence from a table and you're back to your apartment. You take a phone call, meet the angel in the MMO. She tells you you're not getting into heaven or something. And then it's time to drive again. This driving section is almost completely identical to the first one. There's like almost no difference, except it's nighttime now. You arrive outside a church and have to meet with some people in a gazebo to get in, and that's it. That's the game. No. That's not where the game ends. That's where it completely stops working. After walking aimlessly in the largest building ever, you'll get into a conversation where the close button just doesn't work. It's a character in a hallway that you have to speak to. There's no way to avoid him. He's at the very start of the level. He's one of the first people you meet after you do like the first objective where you just go to a computer. And there's no way to avoid him. Modifying the save file, which by the way has the worst structure I've ever seen in a save file, causes the game to just delete all your progress and only allow you to create a new game. There is no way I am playing through all of that again just to get like a 30-second clip of that. That's not happening. Yeah, that's it. So overall, I'd say that Divine Invasion has earned a 7 out of 10 from me. Alright, bye. Hi, it's me again. I'm back. Just wanted to point something out. 2 years earlier? From what? When did we ever go back to the present? Or are we in 2 years earlier for the whole game? It's never explained. I don't know if it's ever explained because the game doesn't work. Goodbye.